James Steinhubel, TVU, St. Albert. Today we have Sheila Willis, founder and CEO of the Alberta History Check mobile app. Sheila, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. And you?
Fantastic. You know, for all the wrangling, and that's a little bit of a pun for I know who's going to be watching this, that I've been doing over the last 2 years to get access to Alberta history information, I had never come across you until I met a wonderful friend of yours. So Renee from the Canadian Motorcycle Tourist Association said, you have to meet Sheila. And I agree. Tell us, what is the Alberta History Check mobile app?
History Check is a map based app that covers 650 communities. And what we've done is by GPS coordinates, place sites of interest. That could be a historical site or story, it might be an attraction or even a business. So we've made it easy for travelers to go and explore, especially in rural Alberta, the various things that you don't normally see. We're after hidden gems. So we've essentially created not only a complete road trip for the entire province, but also a business directory and a heritage directory as well, all in one.
It's cool at like atmospheric level. This is so cool. So who are you? You come from Smith, Alberta, and now you're conquering Alberta, soon the world, right from Smith. Where do you come from?
I was born in Beaver Lodge, and I actually only lived there for 6 months because I was born to a U.S. Air Force serviceman who worked on the radar base there back in the early 60s. There, I dated myself. I'm good with that. And I moved to Smith in
Hold on. There's a little bit more of a story to tell about your dear father and what he did there.
I believe that he was decoding messages from the flyer jets, etc. He was decoding all those secret messages.
From Beaver Lodge, Alberta. What was there? He was a U.S. Airman?
Yes, they had a radar base there, so they had the big domes. It was part of the DEW line and the defense during the Cold War. And the only place that I'm aware of that you can now see one of those domes is actually right on the Saskatchewan Alberta border down south at what they call Alsace. The Canadian Civil Defense Museum has bought one of those and is turning it into a museum.
That's so good. So you had your 6 month stint in Beaver Lodge.
Yeah.
Beautiful community. Certainly, wonderful people that come from there. So you're in that group. Where'd you go from Beaver Lodge?
We actually went back down to the States until and moved back to Canada in grade one, where my mom and dad took up citizenship. And I grew up in Salmon Arm, British Columbia. Another beautiful place. I was blessed.
And then how'd you end up in Smith, taking on the Alberta History Check mobile app?
I came here in 1995 as a tourist, and I always wanted to live in a small town again. And this was the place I picked, and I met my husband and put down my roots and have been here ever since and never intend to leave.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
And you sort of stumbled into history because Smith is deep in history.
absolutely. I actually just released my first ebook, and it's about the transition from Mirror Landing to Port Cornwall to Smith. The history here started long before, like for centuries. Smith is located right where the Lesser Slave River empties into the Athabasca. And back in the day when Indigenous people were using the rivers as highways, that river is the only outlet out of Lesser Slave Lake, which is like 100 kilometers long. So you can bet your bottom dollar on these nice grassy flats right at that river junction. They would have camped there for years. The Klondike Gold Rush came through here. We had a steamboat town, then it turned into a railway town, then it was part of the Alaska Highway. We had German POWs here at Fawcett Lake. Like it's huge, very diverse.
And
Yeah,
then that got you going onto the app.
absolutely. I was speaking with a group of people interested in historical tourism, and somebody said people can't find all of this history and they don't know the connection with the other places. So for instance, James Cornwall used to be a member of the Legislative Assembly. He's known as Peace River Jim. Moved 12-foot Davis from Gruard to Peace River, his gravesite. But how do you connect all those dots? And if you're just reading it, especially with name changes such as Mirror Landing, Port Cornwall, and Smith, which is all the same place essentially, you can't find that history. So let's put it on a map. And I did.
So this is it's a map, but it's a high powered app too.
Yes, absolutely.
So I've got this app on my phone, and I'm tootling down the highway. I'm stopping in towns. What's going to trigger it?
Your location is the first thing to trigger it. So it's going to show you what sites are around you, or you can use a zoom feature and it'll show you communities around you. If you touch one of those communities, it's going to give you a menu of options, whether it be the history or services you might need, like your fuel and food, etc., or recreational opportunities. But if you're looking for something very specific, you go menu, then you touch search. And as we load more information, eventually you're going to be able to find out exactly what's closest to you. Let's say you're looking for air for tires or Chinese menus or whatever. That will all be in our search functions.
I'm
Anything.
just pulling up the app now. Yeah, here it is. And so you've got Apple and Android download. So you went through the Apple gauntlet of getting an app on their system. It probably shocked you what they want, but I can understand though, right? So it's quite the check. And then so let's see. Let's take a look at the screenshots. Am I still loading? History check video. What happened here? I scrolled too far. Oh, I see what happens. You've got it fancy like that. Oh, you got a good video. May I stream that on TVU?
Yep.
Sure, that's awesome. Thank you. Screen captures. Do I get any here? What do I do here to get the screen captures?
I do believe we have a problem.
Oh, well. But you're all there, and you know what? I can't. It may be me because once I'm running Zoom and I'm running running screen share and stuff, I should have loaded it first, and so I apologize. So so people can submit a point of interest.
Absolutely.
You've also so that's interesting because certainly, well, especially around where you are, there's probably 60,000 people and probably 59,999 historians.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem. It's on my side, so I apologize for that. We'll just get out of that. So so that's great. So people go up to the website, they download the app, and this is perfect time because people are doing a lot more driving around, day trips, going doing short runs, and so there's enough. For what it looks like, there's enough information on there now for it to be fun and useful.
Yeah. And we have right now about 3,000 sites loaded up on the app. And when we're done, because this is always a work in progress, we fully expect to have at least 30,000. Like there's a lot of things out there, right?
Well, this is so good. And how much Indigenous history are you able to collect? Is it readily available to put on?
A lot of what we do is the place name histories to start.
Okay.
There's a certain amount of relationship building and permission. And
yes, for sure.
And I would rather go without and do it properly.
So that they can see that you're going to represent their hit. Because if there's any part of Albertans and Canadians, any part of us that holds their history dear, it's our Indigenous friends and neighbors. Absolutely. Right?
And how is it presented, right?
Right.
I want it presented from an Indigenous viewpoint, not a settler viewpoint.
So key.
Developing those relationships to do that properly is hugely important to me.
And from what I see, a lot more of that kind of tourism, history-based tourism, is starting to come up from the First Nations and the other Indigenous communities. So that's exciting because it's tough to understand without understanding it. You know what I mean? You know, got to know, you know, and I've just known that from stumbling upon it. So, so that's great.
The experiences. Now, if Indigenous Tourism Alberta has both a website and Facebook pages, and there's a lot of good information on there for people to learn more about.
Oh, yeah, that's
culture.
good.
So,
well, you just that you brought it up, right? You brought up Lesser Slave Lake, and there's what, 30 communities, or I don't know how many, but surrounding. I've been to many, right? And it's just like one after another. You know, it's a metropolis of communities there. So, and then coming down the Lesser Slave to Athabasca. I'm familiar with Athabasca.
History Check is very much a grassroots movement. Like obviously I've said, I built it off my kitchen table. We are in the process right now of doing another upgrade with more features.
Okay.
But one of our errors as being a bunch of amateurs and go-getters was, if you're signing up for the app, you need 2 correct answers: your username and your email. Ignore all the rest. It was a mistake. We didn't know any better.
Okay, on the registration form.
Yeah, there's questions, but hey, if anybody wants to relieve stress, I don't even know how to see those answers, so do whatever you do.
Yeah, okay. Sheila Willis, founder and CEO of Alberta History Check mobile app. Thank you so much, Sheila. It's been a real delight.